Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep. With your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Friday edition of Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. Spencer Israel here with Joel Elconin and Dennis Dick. Well, we're going to talk about the reversal that happened yesterday shortly after the open and sort of why that may have happened and how Dennis identified it, how he traded it, and how you can identify it for future reversals. We also have some macro trade war-ish news. I guess Huawei is back in the headlines here. U.S. and China sort of heating up the trade war stove today and yesterday. So we'll talk about that. A couple of earnings on our radar, but not a lot in the way of headlines. So we'll try to answer way more of your questions today from our chat than we did yesterday. Our guest is Jason Raznick. He will join the show at 8:45 to recap the week. Bringing Joel on here. Joel, give us a quick update on what happened overnight.
What the market giveth, the market take it away. We exceeded the high on Thursday's session. We got up to 53.75 overnight, 63.75. Really not much there. Wednesday intraday high 68.75. Then we went into reverse and we came back down, made a pre-market low. We're near that area at 10.75. 12.50, that was your close on Wednesday. That'd be a good area to keep on. But we lose this pre-market low. Nothing substantial until you get to yesterday's low. That's 27.60 a quarter. But I don't know. That'd be a long ways to go. You need a good sell-off in order for that to happen. Also, crude up 38 cents at 28.26. Another good day for crude here, inching its way toward $30. Gold in the red by 30 cents at 17.40.70. Silver going the opposite way, up almost 44 cents at 16.60. And Bitcoin inching up towards 10,000 once again. The futures are down 120. Let's bring in Triple D. And before we get started with the markets, Triple D, we got a happy birthday.
Uh-oh.
Yep. Spencer Israel.
How do you know that?
I know everything.
Joel knows everything.
Facebook told you, didn't it? Oh, I knew it.
Spencer's 20th birthday.
Yeah, that's right. I'm 21 today. Happy birthday!
Legal drinking age in Michigan. If you could go to a bar, that would be awesome.
I'll buy all the drinks and everything you can eat tonight.
You gotta be careful, Joel, because they're reopening.
Sure,
we'll have less customers, but that could still be expensive.
The big 2.9, right, Spencer?
Yeah, that's right. I'm 1 year
You're
closer.
Still not 30 years old?
I am not 30 years old.
Holy mackerel. My 30th birthday feels like decades ago. Oh, it was. Joel's was centuries ago.
Mine feels a couple decades ago.
A couple decades. Let's keep going with more than a couple.
A couple, almost 3. But hey, no.
It was Facebook. It was either Facebook or I don't know how else you could have known.
I just, for people that I care about, I know their birthdays. I can't remember Dennis's. But
speaking of caring about, I want to make an announcement. After 4.5 years of working with Joel on this show, I'm proud to report that as of Wednesday night, Joel follows me on Twitter.
If you get a follow from Joel, that's impressive.
I
don't even know Joel follows me.
I
doesn't follow anybody.
How
many people do you follow, Joel? You follow like 10, don't you?
22, I looked.
22. But Spencer Israel made the cut finally.
Am
I on there? Does Joel follow me? Does he follow me? I don't even know if he does.
I don't know.
He follows me, and then I talk over him the whole show, and then he unfollows me.
I know, Dennis, you're the first person I followed.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're I don't know. I mean, sometimes I go, I should follow all these people, and then I see a bunch of stupid tweets. I'm like, I don't want to follow these people.
There's a lot of smart people, too, out there, though.
And then I go to yours, and I don't know. I don't automatically follow everybody, that
I
follows
say
me
some
back.
stupid tweets sometimes too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always getting your tweets on the weekend, and I'm like, oh God, I wish Dennis would not tweet on the weekend. That's when he gets people mad at him.
Yeah, I
But
know people get angry because I have more time on the weekend, so then
I
I'm like,
know.
and then I can engage.
Let's go
And
to
then I get in
banks.
these Twitter wars, and I'm like, I hate Twitter.
I know.
Everybody hates me on there. They all give me hate.
You leave yourself open, though, Dennis.
Speaking of Twitter,
What's
did,
going
did
on with
anybody
Twitter?
read my tweet from yesterday at 9:47 a.m.?
Yes.
Did you
Yes.
read that one?
Yes.
This is why, and Josh Brown made a good point. Like, when you're following people, you're following different people, they change their opinion. Hedge fund managers change their opinion. I was like thinking, Josh Brown, I changed my opinion a lot too. I'm a lot shorter than like hedge fund managers. I changed my opinion a lot. And obviously came on the show from 8 to 9, trashing the banks. I trashed the banks for the last week and a half. But what happened? Right off the hop, they started buying JP Morgan. They started buying Wells Fargo. That was the key. And if you look at the trading, literally 5 minutes or 10 minutes after the open, Wells Fargo went green. And when Wells Fargo went green, it was time to start covering the shorts. So I covered my shorts. And then I tweeted out, just in case anybody follows me, I said, Wells Fargo this is at 9:47 when the SPY was at 277. So it hadn't quite made the lows. It actually made new lows a few minutes after I tweeted this. But I tweeted out, Wells Fargo just went green. Keep an eye on it. That could bounce the overall market if the Wells Fargo rally continues. That is exactly what happened. The Wells Fargo rally didn't just continue. It continued up. It was trading up 7%. It was a huge reversal day for the banks. That led the market back. That was your leadership yesterday. I'm going to tell everybody another tip for my trading book. And whoever writes it out there can say, this is all the tips we've learned on pre-market prep. But on page 8 or page 9, we would say the best indicator, forget about your technical indicators, the best indicator for traders is leadership. Know who your leader is of the day and follow what they are doing. Wells Fargo had been leading the charge down for 2 days. That was the reason the market was collapsing, because of the banks. Obviously, tech rolled over. We said if the banks continue to go down, I said this a week and a half ago, there's no way that the tech is going to be able to continue to hold up. Well, what happened yesterday? The banks bounced. And that's why the overall market bounced. So what do you do now? You look at the Wells Fargo low. It's $22 and $22.02. Those were the lows from those 2 days. They're going to be safe for a while. I would say I am a buyer of dips again as long as Wells Fargo remains above $22. When Wells Fargo falls below $22, I want no part of it. I know you say, oh, well, the banks don't matter. People will say this. It does matter. We gave that argument for an hour yesterday on the show because there's a lot of companies that obviously need money from banks to survive. So Wells Fargo is your indicator for financial crisis part 2. As long as we're above 22, then you're okay to buy dips, in my opinion. So at this time, at this market this morning, there's a lot of news here driving us around. I've actually put buying the dip back on the table.
Yeah, I looked at that 22. That was a double bottom there. And then I went and I looked back, and there were 2 monthly lows there from June and July of 2009. So a double bottom on the daily, and then a double bottom on the monthly. So that's a good level. Got up over
Nice
24.
level.
Big area, trading in the red here today. I think some people maybe were a little anxious that Mr. Buffett would come in. Have we got any of those 13Fs yet or not?
They're tonight.
I didn't see any yet. I saw one yesterday. But
I think they're tonight.
Yep.
So tonight is going to be interesting. Like if Buffett actually bought something, which we don't think he did because he just had his call and he didn't talk about buying anything. But
yeah,
you want to watch Buffett. You want to watch the big guns. Obviously, there's 3 or 4. You want to watch Ackman. Ackman's been hot. So if he's got something new, that stock will move. But I would say as of right now, Buffett and Ackman are the 2 guns. The market is in love with Ackman again. He's obviously made some fantastic calls here lately in the market, made a ton of money on the way down in this overall market. He's been long the right stocks, being long Chipotle and a few others. So Ackman's hot again, and the market knows it. So watch tonight from 13F land after 4 o'clock. If you get Ackman and Buffett, those are the 2 to watch.
And just keep in mind, as we say it again, this is what they did during the prior 3 months. So
Yes.
you are not replicating those prices, doing what you're doing, but it's always interesting, and there will be some good movement off it. It'd be really interesting if Warren didn't buy anything, during this.
I will tell
And
you, if he bought a stock and he has a new position in a stock, that stock will rip. I don't care what the
well,
stock
yeah,
is.
exactly
If
that,
he,
yep.
not adding to positions, but a new position, if he put a new position on, that stock could go up 5 to 10%. So it will have a huge move if he bought anything. And if he sold other stocks, watch out. If he liquidated something or liquidated a bank, watch out for, weakness. If he liquidated, and I'm not saying he did on Wells Fargo, but we don't know what he's
Yep.
been doing. So, and we just want to put the Wells Fargo context in perspective as well. If you're buying Wells Fargo, you got to have your out. So I will give you permission if you want to bottom pick in Wells Fargo here. It's a nice level. But with that being said, you have to stop yourself out below the $22 level. It is critical. You have to know where your out is in trading always. Think about rounders. And rounders, what's quote Matt Damon? Always have yourself an out. Always have outs. When you're playing cards, you have outs. When you're trading stocks, you have outs. So that means when the stock goes through, this is my contingency plan. If I'm buying the dip in Wells Fargo, if I'm buying the dip in the banks, I want to know where my stop out is, where I'm going to say, okay, I was wrong, and I'm going to, not risk any more capital. My stop out on Wells Fargo is very well defined right now. It is 22. I'm not long Wells Fargo because I think this was just kind of a bounce, a short squeeze, but it could turn into something better. So I'd be more inclined to buy the dip in Wells Fargo than sell the rip here now. I will say that.
Wait, I thought the quote from Rounders was, if you can't spot the sucker, you are the sucker.
Well, there's a lot of good quotes from Rounders.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. There's a lot of good quotes from Rounders. So
I just threw the article. I did. That was the pre-market prep stock of the day. I just threw that in there. Pretty much a recap of what was said on the show. Also, Dennis's clip talking about Wells Fargo was on there. Dennis is at Triple D Trader. That's his Twitter handle. I'm at Spoos, SPUS. All right. We got Spencer's birthday out of the way. We got Wells Fargo out of the way. Not much in earnings land, but we do have some stocks moving off earnings.
Well, yeah, and before we go there, I just want to just talk about the overall, just the reversal beyond the banks yesterday, right? Dennis, tech did not lead us, which was a surprise. We hadn't seen that for a while. I just want to get your thoughts on the different sectors yesterday.
Well, tech had been leading and holding us up. Tech is
Right.
Still your leadership, and we're going to talk the news happening over from China here today with Qualcomm and the chips because it's ugly. But so obviously leadership changes day to day. But the last few days, the market had been rolling over, and the talk in the media had moved into what we've been talking about for a week and a half, was into the banks. You saw Wells Fargo mentioned multiple times in the last couple of days. So as that talk turns, as the media, you can always tell what your leadership is because it's what the media is talking about. So even if you're not trading on opinions on CNBC, what is the story of the day? The first thing I wake up in the morning and I'm trading, I'm like, what is the story of the day? What's going to be the driver? The last few days, it's been Wells Fargo, and the rally in the banks was the driver yesterday. Today, the driver is likely going to be the chips. Why? One, we had Applied Materials earnings, so it was already going to be a driver. But we've had a major reversal here today in Applied Materials and all of the chips, and that is because of the news from China. What is that news, Mr. Israel?
Yeah, the U.S. is moving to once again make it extremely difficult for Huawei to operate and do business. They are going to trying to restrict Huawei's technology supply and say they can't do business with U.S. companies after mid-August. Can't use technology from U.S. companies, and were that to happen, there's also a report that China, in retaliation, would try to restrict U.S. companies in China, such as Qualcomm, Cisco, and Apple, and Boeing. So U.S. once again making life difficult for Huawei, and the Chinese potentially retaliating.
Qualcomm down 4.5%. I own Qualcomm in the long-term portfolio. I stuck with it for the 5G play. I thought about getting rid of it, but I was like, you know what? I got to own something. I've obviously sold a lot of stocks. Qualcomm, I still like it for the 5G play. Am I buying the pullback? Not on day one. Let's see what happens here. Maybe this bounces right back. It might. And if I was playing it for a bounce, I'd be looking at yesterday's low, which was 76.47. It's kind of where you're at right now. You're a little bit through it, but let's see if it takes it out during the regular session. Takes that out, you go all the way down to 74.09. Cisco, same thing. I own it in my long-term portfolio. It rallied on the earnings. It's getting hit because it's a direct mention in the article. And then Boeing is the other mention, and Boeing's getting whacked too. I don't want to touch Boeing. Thoughts, Joel, on the chips and the China trade war starting?
Oh, we gotta have
Here we
something.
go again.
Here we go again. Pandemic, trade war,
So many
pandemic.
things to worry about
Yeah,
here. Climb the wall of
geez.
worry.
Can't we just have like a normal Friday here?
No, we cannot. No.
Okay, we're not
There's
having
no
a
such
normal
thing as
Friday.
there's nothing normal anymore. Normal is gone. Normal is not 2020.
75.5. That's what you hit. You've bounced a little bit. Going on the dailies here. Did you have any lows there? 75.5? Not really. To me, I want to be a buyer of this thing at all today. I just think it's had a nice run.
It has run a lot.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I'd be more inclined maybe if I was short it to try and see if it's going to get continuation. But you got people stuffed a little bit up near the high of the move. Now I think if you buy it at a lower price, you're going to be competing with people that hit $80 yesterday, 81.79. I don't know. Breaking through the support at 78.5. I'd say next stopping point, lower 74 handle if we can't get through here. 74.09, 74.68. Those are the lows. For the monthly low is 74.09. The day before 74.68. Just looks tired up here. I'm not a buyer, and sure a lot of people would like to see unchanged there at 79.87. Even the lower yesterday's range is in sight, 76.47. So right there, right now.
Is there any hope for Boeing? Boeing is mentioned in this.
Man.
It tried to bounce a little bit yesterday because it was the dash for trash was on. Some of the airlines bounced a little bit yesterday. Do you look at yesterday's low and say, okay, well, 113, 114, maybe we bounce there? I could get interested at yesterday's low for a day trade. It ain't going in my long-term portfolio. I'll tell you that, though.
No. There was Delta made a new low for the move yesterday. Did come back and recover. Just air travel. Of all the things that are going to take a while to come back, I think it's going to be air travel. That's all there is to it. And I think there's going to be smaller planes, regional flights. I don't know. I have no touch on Boeing. Maybe
Delta said yesterday that they had 7,000 too many. They have 14,000 pilots, and they only need 7, is what they were saying. So I'm like, I wouldn't want to be a pilot right now, for one thing, because obviously you're cutting it back. But think, if you're cutting pilots back, you're cutting planes back too. Maybe there's just going to be less air travel. Boeing was in trouble before all this started, so it's still hard. With that being said, you can trade anything. And if I'm buying the dip, I'd use yesterday's low. I would not want to see this trade below 113.89. I am inclined to buy the dip a little bit today here in certain stocks, although I do not like Boeing. I do not like it. Sam, I am. I don't know why I said that. I was must have been reading it to my kids.
Green eggs and ham.
Yeah, remember that one? Did you read that one when you were a kid? Was that out when you were a kid, Joel? How old is that book? Is that book older than you? Did we find something that's older than you? You read it to your kids, but your dad didn't read. Your dad read you the horse track program.
He did. That's what I read at night, exactly. And I used to broadcast the races into a tape recorder.
And you listened to them all night. He had it going all night for you. Did you know, and just newer listeners here, that Joel knows a lot about stocks, but nobody knows more about horses than Joel. Joel is the horse man. We're just calling him the horseman. We're going to start calling you the horseman. He's got a new nickname. It's not Spoos anymore. It's the horseman.
I tell you, Bafford's got this horse. It looks unbelievable. It looks like he's got another super horse, but now they're running the Derby in September. So
really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. It
Are they going to have fans at the track, Like, how's it work? Isn't most of the like money made at the track itself? Like, how's that going to work?
This off-track wagering.
All off track rate.
Yeah.
DraftKings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's a good
I
segue.
mentioned this, I think when I was on the Cortland Economic Report, that my dad told me 40 years ago, because he represented the horsemen and he was fighting off-track wagering. And he said, eventually what's going to happen is that you're going to have horses racing at the track and no one's going to be there because they're all going to be betting online. Well, there wasn't even online, man. I don't know. Telephone betting was, and he fought it like hell. He fought OTB in New York and he lost, and he knew it would hurt the horsemen. But you know what? Horse racing could be making a comeback here. They're running it. I don't know if the horses are going to run 6 feet apart, but if you want to keep an eye on the two Baffert horses, Charlatan.
Running 6 feet apart is awesome. Social distancing on the track.
Yeah, and for me in swim racing, it won't be that bad because I'll be 6 feet in front of everyone. Anyways.
Wait, but this is a good segue into DraftKings.
It is. I've been trying to take us there.
Yeah, because they actually had.
Joel would make it a horse show, though.
They actually had earnings here, I'll give you the DKNG numbers. EPS a loss of 16 cents per share versus an 11-cent loss. Estimate revenue of $88 million. That is actually up. What is that? Up 30% on a year-over-year basis. So DKNG out this morning with earnings. First, as a public.
What is their overall revenue? Because this is just getting started.
Yep, first report as a public company. Overall revenue for the quarter. What did I just say? $88 million.
Yeah,
88 and a half.
When sports come back, this is gonna be the play, and people are obviously buying the stock ahead of that, regardless of not having any sports right now. So we know sports are eventually coming back. They're trying to get Major League Baseball started on July 4th, apparently. Their talk that Batman said with the NHL playoffs that it's not even in consideration in his mind to not play the 2020 playoffs. So NHL is going to try to figure it out too, which I thought was good news because I'm a huge hockey fan. But, I mean, sports are going to come back in one way or another. And DraftKings is set to obviously make money off of that. So I think the story is definitely intact. Valuation's probably crazy because all these newer IPOs are crazy, but I'm not going to short this saying, there's no sports, DraftKings is going to go down, because that hasn't been the case for the last 2 months, really. So obviously, the story is still intact.
Big run up after the transition, still in the green by 19 cents here. Just a huge run. It's doubled. I'd wait this thing. I try and buy a pullback. I know Soros put a big stake in, so maybe shorter term if you want to nibble at $23 looks like a good area. I don't know if we're going to get there today. Two lows, 23.04, 23.18, but I like a pullback. That this is something I might consider for a longer term investment. Hey Dennis, what was the name of that one stock that we had? It was the Stars Group, right?
Yeah, me and you were playing that one.
Yeah, we couldn't have played.
We played that bad.
Beyond bad.
It got taken over too. So it's gone. Now it's off the board. It got taken over there. We had a stock that got taken over and we still lost money on it. That's tough.
But you know what's even worse?
You know why we bought it? Because Goldman came out with that report and they were bullish. Goldman timed this one bad too. And Goldman came out, I was like talking about, I read the Goldman report. I was like, I'm bullish this too. We like the sports betting angle. Me and Joel right into sports betting. We both bought this thing around like $25. And then she went, and it got ugly. This would have been like last year. And it went down like $14, $15. And then it ended up getting taken over. And it goes up to like 21, 22. So we got a lot of our money back, but I don't know if you made money. I still lost money on this puppy.
Well, you don't even know what even the worst part of it is.
What's that?
It ended up going down to like $12, $13.
Yeah.
And that stock rallied and it ended up going off the board at 27.31.
No, I know. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Well, it got taken over by a European company, and then it was just tracking that stock.
Right. And then it got, because my cousin Jimmy, who has been in it, he picked it up during the crisis at like $13, $14.
Jimmy knows. Jimmy knows where to buy and sell. Me and Joel, not so much on that one.
Yeah. Well,
sometimes you get the call right, but you get the timing wrong and you lose money. And that's exactly what me and Joel did on this thing. We had the call right. We thought it was a good business. We were just in it too soon.
Yeah. And we didn't
been
stick with it.
DraftKings.
We didn't.
Well, we did. I stuck with it a long time. We got taken over, and then we're like, okay, well, it's taken over. And it's tracing that other stock. So, and I was happy to get 2/3 of my losses back.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a huge position in that. It was like a double-sized position, so it was ugly for a while. So I was very happy when I got 2/3 of my losses back when it got taken over. I was like, okay, I'll take it. And obviously it continued going up a little after that. Then we had the COVID crash, and then the big pop here lately.
Yeah,
so we would have made money.
Yep.
So what's the moral of the story? Just hold until your money comes back.
That's the moral of the story. S&Ps are showing some spunk here this morning. We just dipped down to like 28.11 and change. 1075 stands as your pre-market low. I have a feeling it's just going to be one of those days, Dennis, where you're just hopping all over the place. Where did you break down to on that last bracket? You got down to almost the low of the set. You matched the low of the session here in the last bracket, and now you're back above 28.20. It just feels it's going to be kind of sloppy back and forth. We've had some big overall ranges, but yesterday was the biggest real true intraday range. The real almost 101 that we've had in some time. A lot of times you still have a $100 range, but it's 55 of it on the upside overnight, and then it chops around in 30. So market loosened up a little bit, and I guess we'll find out today, whether today or over the next couple of days, whether we have a trading range here, which we've been talking about.
It sounds like we got just an expanded range to a certain extent. I'd use yesterday's low as a stop out. If I'm buying the dip, yesterday's low is critical to hold now. So that would be 270. Wow. What's the real low? So 272.99 shows up on my chart still. I hope that they busted that trade. It was an outside trade that happened on NYSE. So what are you showing for the low?
What am I showing? Yeah, not that low. No, I still see that.
Yeah, forget about the 272.99 low. I went and looked at the tape on that. It was an outside trade. It's called a trade through. And because the market's so fragmented, sometimes an order can get routed through and miss liquidity on other exchanges and then execute on its own exchange. If you want to get all market structure talking this morning, there's a rule, and the rule is called the trade through rule. It's 611 and here it's the boring stuff. And what it does is protect the top of the book. So you can't trade through any quotes that are at the top of the book. But if once the top of the book's satisfied, you can trade through other quotes. So if you've got a bid at like $28 or like a SPY at 280, and the top of the book's 280.25 or whatever, then the 280 can actually trade out once you satisfy that top of the book. So it's an order routing inefficiency is what causes that to happen. And the order gets routed back. It was traded on the NYSE primary exchange, which they do trade SPY now. A lot of people don't realize that. And it was obviously traded through. So if I was that customer, I would be calling and saying, look, an ugly trade through here, adjust my price. I'm sure they probably did because it's showing up on everybody's chart, but the low yesterday was not 272.99. The correct low was, do you know what the correct, it was around 276.5, I believe.
Yeah, I was trying to figure it out. Let's see, because I had the, actually I took it off my sheet.
I don't have it here. If somebody's got it, because my chart's still showing 272.99 too, which is wrong.
Yeah, we know
that was just a one trade. I tweeted that out too. If you go to my Twitter account, you can see that trade. It was like 7,600 shares. There was a few trades down there, but they were all fairly small size for SPY.
Let me see if I can. What was I'm just spitballing in here.
April... just FYI, I'm awaiting retail sales for April. So
retail sale.
Yep. Retail sale. I'm seeing down
the one sale.
I'm seeing down 16.4% month over month. The consensus estimate was a 12% drop. So just to put that in context, March retail sales were down 8%.
So March was even down.
March was down 8% and April was down.
Yeah, we knew that. We knew that was going to happen. But here they are. The market's now caring about economic numbers and it's selling it off. It's looking not so much at the silver lining anymore. We find a reason to sell off a little bit too. It's funny how sentiment just changes everything. We were last week and a half, good news is good news, bad news is good news. Now you're getting to a point where they're starting to actually say bad news is bad news. So we saw that yesterday with jobless claims. we're seeing it a little bit this morning, a little hit here, but we're definitely seeing it on the headlines from China here. Market a little concerned about trade war. So lots more worries. Market's carrying a little bit more here. With that being said, I still think you got underneath demand.
Yes,
People underinvested.
And this also offers a preview for next week, because next week is the start of the retail earnings season. So keep that on your radar.
My out is Wells Fargo. When it takes out 22, I don't want to be long anything. So I'm going to be buying dips and selling rips until Wells Fargo is below 22. When Wells Fargo takes out 22, that's it. And I'm getting out of my longs for trades.
Okay.
Staying still in major cash because I think everything's still going to be ugly here eventually.
They don't like that retail sales number, I guess, a little bit after the fact here. We're dipping, diving, and ducking back down towards the lows of the session. Just this 28-10.
Just made me think of dodgeball. Remember that dive, duck, the 5 Ds of dodgeball? Joel just did 3 of them right in that sentence. What are the 5 Ds? Okay, question. Free Benzinga Pro subscription coming at you right now. Chat. Whoever gets it first. What's the 5 Ds of dodgeball?
Well, aren't there only 4? I thought there were 4.
There's 5 because they do the one twice. What are the 5 Ds? Look it up fast. Who's getting the free Benzinga Pro? We're looking to your chat. Either chat. Any of the chats work.
I'm not even sure if I remember.
Well, we're not giving it away.
I know that one.
Twitter too. Tweet at me. Triple D Trader. What's the 5 Ds in dodgeball?
Yeah, there's so many chats to look at now. I don't even know which one.
They're all over the place.
I don't even know which one.
Them too here. Nobody's got it. We've got Brooklyn. Dodge, dip, duck. Oh, he's missing one though. Oh, here we go. Cameron Reed, I think, has it. Do we have Cameron? I think Cameron's got it first. He's got all 5.
Which chat are you looking at?
I'm looking at which chat I'm
too.
Well,
here we go.
Which chat? Oh, he had it first in that chat.
Okay, yeah. Okay, all right.
I think Cameron Reed had all 5 first, though.
Yeah, we got a few in there. Yeah.
They're duck, dodge, dip, dive. Oh, I don't know. I think it's wrong.
Wait.
I think Cameron's wrong because I think that he did the one twice.
No, here
wrong.
BM got it right below him.
BM got it because you have to do the dodge twice. Although he spelled dodge wrong, but we won't get him on that. So I think it's BM actually.
That's
it's
okay.
So it's dodge, duck, dive, dip, and dodge. They do the dodge twice. You're close, Cameron, but you did duck twice, but it's dodge twice.
Email Spencer at Benzinga Pro for your free subscription.
You're hooked up.
Email
over this.
No,
thing
but
now,
actually email premarket@benzinga.com. Don't email the email.
PreMarket. What is that email again?
PreMarket@benzinga.com.
Oh, we got to go. King Dave on Twitter had it right too, but I think you got beat in the chat, King Dave. Sorry. They were trying. There was a lot of people that tried that one. I thought Jason Raznick would have got it.
When are we gonna do hot potato again?
We can bring it back
today.
You know what? The hot potato got replaced by the hot market, I think is what
it really did.
Right. Yeah.
It really did.
We can bring it back. I think we did it like a month or so ago, but we've also got our CEO, Jason Raznick, coming on in about 10 minutes. But yeah.
We're going to ask Jason if he knows the 5 Ds in dodgeball. I bet you Jason knows it.
He might. Real quick, just a couple more.
Jason knows everything.
A couple more numbers on that DraftKings report. So monthly unique players, I guess that's their measure of active users, up 16% on a year-over-year basis, and average revenue per user was up 10%. So that's despite everything going on in the world. That's pretty good. So they seem to have had a good quarter despite the chaos out there. Okay. 8:35. I want to go to.
We talked like one stock today.
Yeah, no. I want to go to. I want to go to
it's a stock show.
I want to go to Aurora Cannabis here. ACB.
Oh, we're going off the board. Look at this stock. Woo! Cannabis is back. When did that get back to $8? Oh, it reverse split.
That's what I said yesterday. I didn't realize that the reverse split went into effect. I was like, what the?
It's still at $1. How much was the reverse split?
It was a 1 for 12.
1 for 12, so it's actually like 80 cents. So don't get too excited if you own this and haven't looked at it for a while and think, oh, my stock's back at $8. It's not.
Right.
It reverse split on you. Sorry.
Right. So
it's really, I got it at 80 cents adjusted, or 70 cents, 80 cents adjusted, I guess. Give us the numbers though, because we bought it yesterday. You're pretty happy.
Yeah, losses widened for the quarter. EPS loss of $1.02, revenue of $56 million. That's up pretty substantially on a year-over-year basis. They also said they sold 39% more cannabis than they did in the same quarter last year. And despite the losses widening last quarter, they are still on track to be profitable in the next fiscal year. So last quarter seems to have been just a blip for them with the widening losses. But revenue still up substantially on a year-over-year basis. Like I said, $56 million last quarter, and in the same quarter the year prior, they made $48 million. So
I could squeeze them a bit. I mean, you see what happens after reverse split sometimes, and look at Chesapeake Energy if you want to look at one. After the reverse split there just last week, and obviously the company, I believe, even have they officially declared bankruptcy, or they're still just talking about bankruptcy? CHK.
I don't know if
it's official yet, but the bankruptcy's on the table. But you see stocks reverse split sometimes, and then they start to leak, but then they rip your face off short squeezes too. Float, obviously issues there as well. So you look $12.30 CHK, and it ran to $41. So I've learned one thing is when you get these reverse splits, sometimes some funky things can happen. So I don't really like shorting stocks when they're up 30% after a reverse split, because things can get really funny and you can really squeeze people sometimes. So I'm not buying it. I'm not selling it. I'm hands off on ACB.
Okay, ACB, let's look at 909. Got over 9, one bracket, 909, 907. You're still 25 cents away from there. So there's your potential area of resistance. Pretty good volume trading in this one too this morning. So get above 9, hold 9. The rally is still going on. And above $9. I mean, this is tough. There's a 906, 915 high too. So get above 9, hold 9. I would say take a look at 950. That splits the highs from April 27th and April 28th, 948, 960. Where to buy this thing on a pullback? I have no idea. I don't know if I'd want to own it if it started
wild.
To pull back. Yeah.
That'll be wild.
It's
been lifted in the other cannabis stocks. So maybe,
sure,
if it's safer play, maybe look at those. CGC, they've all been ugly. We've talked about these for a long time. They've all been very ugly. They get life every once in a while, though. And today is going to be some life for the cannabis. So they're moving up. Afria, APHA is trading up about 18 cents here right now. Kronos is trading up. CGC, which Kramer's always said best in breed. I'm not going to argue with them. I think that's one of the higher ones too. So CGC is trading up 4%. So just giving the whole industry a lift here this morning. If you play it like Spencer Israel, you're looking at the MJ 1110 up to 1133.
I actually never bought the MJ, but what I did do is I bought a couple of the large U.S. multi-state operators. So I bought.
What'd you buy?
I bought Cresco, I bought Curaleaf, and I bought.
What are the symbols on those? They're all like those 5 symbol ones.
Yeah, here. Hold on.
You got to go call your broker to get a quote.
There's a lot of symbols. Hold on. I can pull them up here. Okay,
I don't like buying stocks with more than 5 symbols.
Oh, I actually don't have the symbols.
Slows me down when I'm typing in my ticker, and then usually doesn't mean good things.
One of them is TCNNF. I think that's TrueLeave. There's so many letters. CRLBF is one that I bought, and I wish I could tell you what the third one was.
Are they doing good? How are you doing on them?
2 are up, 1 is not.
That's good.
Cresco's down, I believe, and TrueLeave and Curaleaf are the ones that are doing okay. So, nice. And those are 3 of the largest multi-state operators in the U.S. in terms of market cap, but also in terms of number of states that they're in and number of stores and locations. So I was looking at the MJ for a long time, and then we spoke to Alan one time, and after that interview, I sort of started looking at the different types of businesses in that ETF, and I decided that most of them are probably going to be in trouble. So I just stuck with the largest names in the largest MSOs, which what I perceive to be the safest type of business in that industry. So
I don't know any of them. I'm scared of them all. But with that being said, I like trading these things. They do move around. Looks like the trade is going to be a little bit higher, at least here at the open. Yeah, if you're trading any of these, leadership. Remember, we started the show talking about leaders. ACB is your leader today. If ACB starts to leak, the others will follow suit. If ACB continues to rally, the others are likely to continue to rally. So even though if you're not trading ACB, you look for that as your indicator.
All right, 8:40 here, 5 minutes before we're gonna bring on our guest. There was a stock I wanted to hit, and I just Springer pointing out Green Thumb too, GTBIF. I have not bought that, but I would be interested in buying it.
Let's talk JD.
Okay,
JD
yeah,
has just been a monster since this has started. They're obviously, benefiting from, I would imagine, a lot of online sales. But
yeah.
JD.com, believe it
Wow.
or not, I believe just
New
hit an
all-time
all-time
high.
high this morning.
Well, I'll give you the
Chris,
numbers here.
yep,
I'll give you the earnings numbers
yep.
this morning. 28 cents versus an 11-cent estimate. Revenue 20.6 billion versus a 19.29 billion-dollar estimate. So they blew away the estimates for the earnings and the revenue.
Online sales driving this. We knew, and we can just take a quote from here. We'll just read you something from the press release. We are proud that JD.com has been able to remain fully operational throughout COVID. Our employees are proud. Then it says strong user growth during the first quarter reflects consumers' increasing reliance on JD.com to support every aspect of their lives and confidence in our commitment to providing a broad selection of quality products and best-in-class services. This has been a COVID play. And, we've, probably shame on us for not really identifying it, I don't even know if we've talked much about JD.com, if we ever have on the show, but this has been riding COVID coattails. I remember, seeing online, and them talking about this JD.com as the sales going up. And you know what? It's online sales, and online sales is hot. JD.com hot too, new all-time highs. So is it overdone? I don't know. I never short a stock making a new all-time high.
Poked its head above 51.50 twice here. Initially when I believe that was around 6 a.m. You hit 51.80, then you hit 51.79. So I look at that area 51.80 to 52. Maybe someone's targeting that area as a place to exit. So use that as resistance on the bumps, on the pullbacks here. It's been finding buyers in the pre-market at 50, 55, 50, 56, but that's a real soft number there. S&P's starting to roll over again here, boy. This is a wicked handle here. This 28.10 to 28.20. It's gonna shake out. You're gonna shake out the longs and shake out the shorts, but we're really chopping around just back and forth. Just see every time I look up. So market trying to find a home here in the middle, 28, 10, 10, 20 area. I don't know what
you've got that expanded range, and you had a big candle yesterday. So you're going to get big movement here again, regardless of no news. And then we get a major headline coming out of China. So there's going to be some movement here today. The one thing is, you're looking forward, we're kind of coming out of earnings season. We are going to hear from a lot of retailers coming up. So we, obviously retailers always close out the earnings season. So that'll be, where the trades are going to be made here maybe next week. And that'll maybe be the sector of interest. But right now, I think you're just fading, buying dips and selling reps. I don't know if I'm coming in here right away. Get down to 2. You know where I'd like, and I don't know if you're going to get down there, but, first we could do some math and, calculating the 50% retracement from yesterday's low and showing that ugly 272.99 still on my chart is a little bit tricky. But I think like where we were, the 279, where we had the double bottom before we took it out yesterday, maybe you come back in there. That's where you start nibbling. So you get down another 20 handles from here. I think you got some buyers. So I start to get interested even at this level, but I'm really interested around like 279 to 280 on buying the dip.
It's still kind of like the underneath that 50% area, which we've traded through like 800 times. So I mean, it's it's 27.86 in the SPOOs. It held up on Tuesday, got below it on Wednesday. Got there. That was low on Wednesday. Got through it on Thursday by 26 handles. But, if you're doing a swing trade or whatever, you're risking 20, 30, handles. The SPY right there is same area that has the 50% retracement. Just real quick for Mitch, I think he's looking at BABA on the weekly chart. And
it's held up very well.
Yeah, it is. It's held up very well.
Online sales. Down this morning because China's all down this morning. So
yeah.
JD's, their earnings are holding them up, but all China is trading down. I'm bringing up the EM, and the EM, which I'm short, is trading down 35. It's trading down 1.6%. So, and China itself, you look at FXI, down 1.7%. So China's ugly this morning. That's what's driving down BABA. other things being equal, you're seeing JD lift because of their good earnings. I'd be cautious still on JD even too, looking at that, but
I mean,
I don't
if you
know.
go on a weekly, I mean, you got to call it like 190. I don't want to go, too close and look at the, last week's. That's last week's low. This week's low so far is 194. Last week's low 189.53. We haven't come close to that, so it's a ways away. Coming back on the upside here, resistance. It hit 208.05 earlier in the week. So if you want to use that previous day, I don't know. Don't have a great feel for this one. I'm
Tough
sorry.
one. I own it in the long-term portfolio, sticking with it. I've been in it for, I feel like it might even be a couple of years here now. I've been in it a long time. I'm sticking with Bob. It's one of my only pure, in my long-term portfolio, I think it's one of the only China stocks that I own directly. I do have some ETFs that are equivalent to EM though.
As do I. All right, let's bring on our guest here, Jason Raznick, is the founder and CEO of Benzinga. He's been joining us every Friday. Just give us his thoughts. Jason, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys doing?
We're good. We're good. We're trying to figure out where the trade is, but we wait for the Jason Raznick 15 minutes here because it's the power of 15 minutes, and we know he's got some ideas for us.
Oh yeah. When I go forward, call it the Raz report. Here's the Raz report.
Nice.
Today. You like that?
I like that.
Well, I get my trade ideas by reading your book. I'm on page 9. I know you were talking about page 8 earlier, and I was glad you didn't say page 9 because if I would have, you would have ruined it for me. So in your book, Dennis.
There you go.
But definitely, I don't know. I have some different perspectives today that may surprise you. But an interesting week. I think I talked about one of the trades last week was Logitech. I don't know if I did here or those after, but
yeah,
I bought Logitech before earnings because of webcams.
Yeah,
people are at home. So to me, it seemed like a Peloton type trade, and
it's been good.
LOGI is a symbol. I still own 70% of the position. I bought calls in it, and then I bought the stock. Another one, and I'm still holding on to Logitech because I think people are still going to be buying higher end webcams. The sales, they didn't guide higher, but they beat the numbers, but they didn't guide higher, and I think they're lowballing it. That's what I think. So I'll just do this.
I like this chart too. I mean, you can't argue with stocks that are near the highs, and this is right near the highs of the move there. And I don't know if that's an all. I think you got to go. Is that an all-time high, Joel? Or did this beat it? And if we go back to the tech bubble, it might have been higher than that. Logitech's been around a long time.
It has been.
Anyway, it's definitely an 8-year high here. So my chart goes back 9 years, and it's the highest it's been in 9 years. So
it's not like an exciting Peloton, but that's the latest play.
I like it.
That I went big on. The other one you guys mentioned it. DraftKings, DKNG. I own the stock. I own it. I also own the August 21 calls, 25 strike. I own both those. So my logic is DraftKings. I'm doing some research on this space a lot right now. I want to see if Interactive Brokers is going to be allowed to have sports betting. Interactive Brokers has one of the best sports betting apps I've ever used in my entire life. It's just for play money. And I've been reaching out to many people in Interactive Brokers to see if they're ever going to make this a real thing. If they make it a real thing, that stock doubles.
Interactive Brokers.
So, IBKR.
You know what? I've been looking at IBKR here too. And you think about, retail volumes. Everybody's been obviously, cooped up here. And, some people lost their jobs. There's a lot of people who are getting into trading just because they're at home and there's like nothing else to do. So we know retail volumes at Robinhood and some of these other ones have gone up, but why not IBKR? Why does it not benefit from everybody being at home too? I'm actually interested in this one too. And the stock's sitting near the lows here. So obviously they got dinged pretty good when crude went negative because their systems, and I don't know if, I think Luke maybe wrote this up, but the systems couldn't price when oil went negative, and you had people who had long positions in the May crude that actually couldn't sell out of it because it just was rejecting it, and it wasn't even showing quotes. So they're going to come good for all those losses. I think it was over 100 million in losses is what they were saying at IBKR. Yeah, IBKR is going to come good for that. So that might have been why the stock got dinged a little bit too. Obviously, Petterfy, if I'm saying his name right, great, person to come and, obviously make those investors whole. but I think they benefit from everybody being cooped up at home here too. So two reasons maybe to look at IBKR. I kind of like it.
So I'm doing research, and I reached out to Petterfeet about the sports betting thing. I haven't heard back yet. I'm doing research on it to see what the legalities are, because if they're allowed to, the stock's going to be at least a double, but I don't know the answer yet. I'm trying to find that out. I'm actually going to talk to one of the analysts who follows the banks, one of the analysts from Raymond James today. And once I get that clarity, I'll be building a position in IBKR. I haven't done it yet, but it also could be fine for what you're saying too, Dennis. So, so I'm reading the comments in the chat room. Yes, TAST guys, it's been a huge home run for you guys. I'm still holding it. Basically, the story on TAST, the guy who gave me TAST, he gave it to 8 other people. 7 of them sold the stock at 220, and I was the only one to keep it, because the story was it was either going to go bankrupt or it was gonna thrive. And basically, when the helicopter money came in, it gave them the lifeline to stay, and they're restructuring the balance sheet. The stock's at 379. It hit as high as like 4. It was just TAST. Okay, so you see the numbers. I bought it at 141 and 159, and I'm still holding. And I will sell once. I'll sell another quarter of the position once it hits 5. That's my number. But I'm not like saying, hey, it's gone up, so I'm not saying go buy it. A stock that I shorted 3 days ago is Ruth Chris, RUTH. I want my hedges. I don't want to be just long the market. I don't care if I'm losing. I'll feel better at night if I have some hedges. Someone said, why don't I just short the market? And you can do that. I just think there's no way that Ruth Chris stock stays here. There's no way. It just, their rent, I know they're getting rent abatements and stuff, but this stock, it's like how you guys question the cruise industry.
Yeah.
How those stocks are up. But here's my new perspective on life a little bit. Okay. So this is get ready for my new perspective on life.
We're ready.
Well, first, how do I find daily trades? I use Benzinga Pro, and I go to the signals tool, and I look to see like potential stuff that's moving. So I use Benzinga Pro for daily trades. My perspective on life, though, or on the stock market, is this. Back in the day, LVMH, which owns all the luxury brands, when the .com collapse, all that kind of stuff, the stock was killed, or Amazon was at $7. And the stocks that basically the cruise industry that you would never buy are the ones that think about 4 years from now, and you're like, oh, you'll kill yourself. So if you have a portfolio that you don't want to touch for, until 4 years from now, that's the ones where you can really take advantage of what's out there, the opportunities that present itself. So I'm like trying to pick up stocks that are my 4 year from now portfolio. And that is the ones that are so hated upon that in 4 years, will I be like, Joel was talking about the airlines, and he was saying they can do smaller regional flights. I agree with Joel. In the short term, they are. I mean, it's going to be tough. But 4 years from now, are people not going to be taking Delta to go visit their grandparents in Florida? I mean, if you think they are, buy the heck out of that stock on dips. I mean, on dips. Or do you think it's going to go to zero? I mean, that's the question. There was only a few of us who were buying Apple when it was $7 to $10 Amazon back in the day. And those are the ones who made a lot of money. You have to take a differing view on a long-term thing. On a short-term trade, all bets are off.
I'll just, obviously you're going to list a lot of good stuff. I'll take the other side of the Delta trade for this reason is I believe there will be people flying on Delta. Delta is not going away. The question is, can they survive when they're burning this much cash? Can they survive in their current form without seriously diluting the stock? And this is what I've learned from the financial crisis. Citigroup didn't go away. It took serious dilution for them to get through it, though. And I think, you could have some serious dilution here, which could make the stock go down significantly even from these levels. And I think that's why, it's just blindly coming in and saying Delta's going to be here, I'm going to buy the stock. Yep. We know Apple, Amazon, different story. And if you're buying cash-rich companies that are going to not need dilution to get through this, then you're okay. The dilution is the curveball, though. And that's why I would say it's probably not just safe to stick Delta. Delta might be around in 4 years. I believe it will be as well. But the shareholders might get seriously diluted for them to get there.
Yep. No, I understand. I'm just trying to find opportunity. Like I brought you guys New York Times when that was a trade on digital subscriptions, and that was at 29 to 35. I understand that these stocks like a Delta, a Royal Caribbean aren't good buys probably right now, but eventually could be good buys. And you just have to think. It's so hard to think of the here and now. Think of the opposite. Whatever makes sense. Think of the opposite story. And partly what came to this was I was watching old interviews of I used to record CNBC on digital VCR tape, literally VHS, I guess you call it, and not VCR, VHS. And this is from 2001 tapes I was watching last night, and it was so crazy how everyone was so dire, everything was so dire, and I'm like, wait. If I would have went to listen to this news and I would have like taken the differing view, I would have not 10 baggers, not 100 baggers, 1,000 baggers. And so I'm just trying to like find that, but I think it's hard. And I just, if you can separate yourself to 4 years from now, in the short term, I'm still shorting those cruise lines. Like I'm still playing some Royal Caribbean shorts. I told you I have Ruth's Chris short, like, cause Dennis, you could throw me under the bus easily and say, Jason, you don't think people are going to get a nice steak in 3 years? The answer is, I do think they are. So I'm just saying.
I'm with you on the Roost Crest. I'm totally with you on that one because it's high-end restaurant, and you're gonna see the social distancing thing. I was watching this piece on CNBC last night from a smaller restaurant, and he had to go to do the 6 feet rule, which could be in there for a while. He had to take his seating capacity from 93 seats down to 40. And you're going to see the same thing in these fancy restaurants. And I mean, you start cutting their revenues in half, even if you reopen, even if you can fill the things, it's going to hurt them for a while. So drive through, like the TAST that you were talking about, completely different animal. Obviously, it's not nearly as impacted as these restaurants that just are fancy sit down restaurants. And then you think about the recession aspect of it. I mean, there's just not going to be as many people that have as much money because, 40% or 20% of the population is unemployed. 40% or 50% probably hurting pretty good. So the recession aspect of it doesn't bode well either. So I'm with you on the Roost Crest. I don't like the stock at all.
Yeah. And then another stock I own, guys, I just want you to know, and I'm not saying buy this one. I've owned it for a while. I've been buying it as it's gotten lower. It's another fast food, Del Taco, TACO. It has gotten killed. It is not a stock that likes to move up. I'm just telling you because they have a lot of stores at this valuation. It almost becomes a no-brainer to buy. I have a guy in a private equity doing diligence on it to see, is it going to be taken out? They had a deal on the table, rumor has it at least, to be taken out for $14 or $16 a year and a half ago, and management didn't want to take that. They wanted a minimum of 20 a share. Well, if someone's willing to pay $16 a share and it's at $5.65, I think your downside is somewhat protected.
They drive through? They're drive through? I've never been to a Del Taco.
Oh, yeah, they have drive through. Oh, yeah, do they have drive through? Yes, they have drive through. They sell smoothies, food. But me just talking about it makes me want to go there.
I'm hungry too now.
I'm not kidding. I want to go get a smoothie.
I've never been to one either. I don't even know where they are.
Is there something? Yeah, that's what I was asking.
If you want to meet me right now, I guess we don't go in the car together, but there's one at Telegraph and it's like 10 miles south from where we live. I want to go so bad right now. You have no idea. Okay. So Del Taco is one. Do not make it for a trade.
Writing it down. IBKR and Taco. I like those two ideas so far.
But do not wait, Dennis. I want to make sure I'm clear on Del Taco. It's not going to be a TAST. It will not be a Logitech or a Peloton. It's one that in 4 months, some person
could be uglier.
Some will take it out. So you don't need to buy Del Taco today. I'm not trying to hedge myself and be right in all situations. I'm telling you, I've held Del Taco. It's not fun to trade. Stocks that are fun to trade for me are like HubSpot, Twilio, Peloton. Those are fun. Tesla. I mean, you guys know I love Tesla. I'll say one thing. You're going to freak out, guys. I sold a few shares of Tesla yesterday.
Good. It's probably good.
I can't blame you here.
It's about time you take some profits.
Yeah, maybe it's time to book some profits on that one.
Well, my logic, Spencer, was I like there's some other investments that I want to go in. Like I bought DraftKings this week. I didn't buy DraftKings at a low. I'm not like trying to take credit for it. I bought DraftKings for the story that I told you about. That Dennis mentioned or Joel mentioned that when sports comes back, DraftKings is your only option out there. That stock's gonna be at $50 in my opinion. Yep. It'll be way overvalued, but people are just going to buy it because you don't want a company that does all the sports betting. So to me, it just seems a no-brainer buy. I'm not even going on PE or valuation or any of that kind of stuff, Spencer.
Story.
So I sold some Tesla, Spencer, to free up some cash and not be on margin.
Mm-hmm.
That was my reason. And yeah, I mean, I wanted to go into another thing. I mean, I think Tesla will stay around the 700 to 850 or 650 to 850 range for the next 2 months until they announce the new battery technology they have, which I thought they were announcing in April. They didn't. And yes, I'm saying new battery technology. Tesla, strong rumor from people inside the company. They have some new battery technology that will change the game for electric cars for the foreseeable future. Basically, you're not going to have distance anxiety. You're going to be able to drive the car up north, which is in Michigan, up north, 4-hour drive, and not have that distance anxiety, and like, so there's some new technology, and I don't, I'm not saying I have any inside info. I'm just some people I talk to. So I don't think that's built into the stock. So if that does come out today, then so be it. It's at $900.
Hey Raz, I gotta hop off here. So I'll let you guys take the remainder here.
Get a carrot. Get a carrot. If you're hopping like a bunny, you're a bunny.
Yeah, I'm hopping like a bunny. I'm hopping over.
Well, Jason, I mean, Friday at 9. Did you want to give us any final thoughts here before we kind of wrap it up?
Well, yeah. Two more. One more. Casinos. Right. Penn National. Okay, yep. You got. I shorted it at 16, covered it at 9, bought it at 5.5, sold it at 9. Didn't hold on to it to $16. This is my theory, Dennis. Goes with exactly what I've been saying this whole time. I know this market is not as fun to trade today, but this is my theory. I should have held Penn National because the stock is $17. The only risk with Penn National was it going to go bankrupt? So you're just taking a probabilities. What's the probability of a company going bankrupt or not? If Penn didn't go bankrupt, you had a no-brainer hold. I should never have sold it, okay? And so 2 years from now, are casinos going to be open? Is Barstool Sports going to be around? If you believe so, Penn National goes to $30. So those are some of the trades that I'm thinking about, and I'm not going to look at them in the short term. And if they do fall, I'm gonna buy it up. There's like Slack. One of my biggest holdings this day is Work. The symbol is WORK. I originally bought it, Spencer, at $38. It went down to 29, then 22, and then I bought it at 17. And so it was the first one that I actually kept my conviction because I really understand the company. And it's the same thing with Penn. I will buy it when it falls because in 2 years, I think people are going to be going to casinos, traveling. Yes, I do. I think Penn National and the CEO is great. I think they'll be one of the big beneficiaries of the changed climate. That's what I think, but give it 2 years. So those are my final thoughts. I know I saw some other questions, but LTHM, yes, I own that. Why is One Life, One Chance ask about that? Yes, electric batteries, lithium is used. LTHM is one that I own, but it hasn't done well at LTHM. It's at $5.13 today, May. I think it's at $10 a year from now. I'm not selling any LTHM. In fact, if it goes to below 5, I'm going to buy more. And yes, we have thank you, Mitch Hotch. June 1st, with a big Benzinga Cannabis Conference. BZ Cannabis, go check it out. We'd love for you to be there. We have Isaiah Thomas, Al Harrington, hopefully John Sale, and all the cannabis CEOs. If you're looking for investment opportunities in the cannabis space, BZ Cannabis. Thank you, Mitch. You guys are Mitch Hotch. He should be on the show one day. He should be like the chairperson of the chat room, right?
Listen, yeah, if any of our chatters want to maybe come on our show, email me.
We were doing that for a while.
Yeah. We tried and nobody emailed us.
Everybody was scared.
Yeah,
they were scared to be on with Joel.
PreMarket at Benzinga.com if you want to come on. Jason just said a key thing. He was talking about his positions and he said it's not going to look at them every day. That's the hardest part, is not looking at them every day.
For sure. The long-term investments. This is my struggle. I was a better long-term investor when I wasn't probably such an active trader.
100%.
But how do you separate it? I mean, I know what I own, and you're like, I watch my Shopify going up, 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 and I was like, I'm trying to ignore it. I can't ignore it anymore. I got to sell it. So, that's the hardest thing, is separating. It's easy. If you got a day job and you're not a full-time trader, don't look at your investment account every day. And I try. I don't log into my investment account lots of days. The problem is I just kind of know what I own. And, you can't get it out of your head. And you're watching the stocks and you're trading the stocks and you're like, oh, man, that stock's really run a long ways. I want to book that profit. It's hard. It's a hard game, long-term investing.
Yeah, I mean, Tesla versus NKLA, no comparison. But I see it in BM. What's that mean?
No, that was me talking to someone in the chat.
Okay. Oh, got it. Okay, so just to finish up, you can follow me on Twitter at Jason Raznick. If you want to chat, I'm in the Benzinga Pro chat room during the day. Next week hopefully I'll have some more exciting picks on this little mini Raz report. And I agree with Dennis. guys, I made some bad trades 3 weeks ago. I sold one of a stock that I owned for I don't know how long. HubSpot. I bought it at $47. I told all my friends to get in it. I sold it at I don't know $117. It's at $187, $197. I held it for 2 years. I sold it to the world was coming to it. I wanted to get some money off and buy some coronavirus plays, and I should never have sold it. And it goes to what Dennis was saying. The stock was getting killed. I saw a gain that was at 167 go to $100. I'm like, holy shnikey. And so I sold it, and basically I was like, and part of it was I was seeing it going down every day. If it was in my other account that my Google stock is in and my PayPal stock is in, I never would have sold it, and I would have another 60%, $20,000 gain. Like I stopped looking at the market, guys, for 2 days because I was so upset about my HubSpot. I was so upset. Two of my friends said, "Jason, this HubSpot's amazing," and they didn't know I actually sold it. And so I just want to hear it. So I couldn't look at the market for 2 days.
Yeah, I hear you.
I know that happens to all of us, but like, you got to just, I guess, face it and not you look in hindsight. I mean, you know why a lot of people's necks hurts? Because they're always looking backwards. They're always looking back in the past.
Is that why my neck hurts so
That's
much?
a
My
good
neck
one.
always hurts. I try to take pills for that. Maybe I just got to stop looking back.
Hey,
That's a good one.
Spencer, so before we hang up,
Yeah.
didn't I prank? I don't know if you want to go in, but didn't I prank you pretty well last week?
No,
Yes,
you didn't.
I did.
No, you
Yes,
didn't.
I did. I just wanted to say I'm not.
No.
I'm not going to
No.
say, Spencer, don't hang up on me. I just want to say I pranked Spencer Israel pretty good. Maybe we'll tell you guys about it later. He's probably going to try to.
No, the gist of the prank was that Jason implied that we need to be more like InfoWars, and
No. He missed it.
that was yes, it was. That's what he said.
Spencer,
He pranks you every day.
The gist of the prank was Spencer Israel must spend 3 hours to 5 hours reading the content at InfoWars.
Yeah.
That was it. Luke put me up to it, and it was the funniest thing. I couldn't even type the email because we knew how much you'd freak out. And then Luke said he talked to you, and he said that you were like for 3 hours couldn't function. Is that true?
My eyes rolled into the back of my head, but yeah. Okay, so
yes, I got you, buddy.
all right. Jason
you back.
Raznick. Jason Raznick is the founder and CEO of Benzinga. Jason, as always, thanks for the time, and I guess we'll talk a little bit later today. All right. Oops.
He's cutting him off now.
No, I didn't actually.
Dennis.
All right.
He cut him off. He was trying to say something.
No, he wasn't. All right. Thanks.
I'm done with him.
Thanks to everyone who tuned in via our chats or on YouTube or on our site. Catch our podcast. Please remember all the information from our show is meant to be used as informational purposes and not for investing or trading advice. Joel and I will be back with you at 3:40. In the meantime, everyone have a great rest of your Friday, and wherever you are, be safe.